In this video, I'm going to do a little bit of a review of some different kind of capos. So, for quite a bit of times I had the Regal Black Lightning, and with that, the string setup here, the action from the strings to the fretboard was the same all along the whole frame of the neck, which I used Shubb's Capo. It's one of these. This is a brass one. But when I got my Vector, the action is not even. It starts out lower, kind of from the nut here, and then gets higher as you go towards the bridge, which doesn't work real well for this capo. Thankfully, when I got the Vector, it came with a beard style capo, which is kind of a flat bar that has another bar that goes underneath it, and you screw it tight, and those work pretty good. But I go on Rezo Hangout, which is another good source, another online community, which is a really good source for if you're wanting to know more about Rezos, whether that's round necks or tricones or square necks like what I usually play here. And they recommended what's called the Charlie's Slide Pro Capo. This capo here is pretty decent design here. It has the simple bar underneath that goes between the strings. There we go. And then a sliding bar that goes and pushes it in when you let your strings go. And basically what that does is, as you push it in, it brings up the bar and tightens it. And it's really simple to use and sounds pretty good here. I'll demonstrate on my little handmade, well, not handmade, but put together instrument here, because it's kind of made out of old guitar. First I'll use the Shubbs here. This one's a little also, so you have to make sure that your string height with this too is the proper size, because it pushes on the strings to go underneath it. So unfortunately I raised it up a bit, so it might make it a little higher pitched. But basically how this one works is it clamps on around here, and then you have a little thumb screw that tightens it on. It tightens the little clamp here and makes it tighten up. Which, depending on how the thickness of your neck and how high your strings are, that can take a little bit to adjust. But I'll show you what it sounds like here. Not too bad. Then when I put on my Charlies, and I'll show you how easy this one is to put on. Just stick it through the center of your strings, even up your end with where your fret's at, and just push it on, and it's ready to go. With the Charlies, it's a bit more bright, and like I said, it's also easier to put on too. But with this, with the Charlies and stuff, you can really notice a sort of difference as you go on to a higher end dobro. In fact, the capo I'm using now isn't actually my original one. I was playing with another guy who had a really fancy dobro. And he had saw me using the Charlies, and he was curious about how it worked and stuff. And he liked it actually so much that he went and bought it from me that night. So I had to go order another one. So but you can really tell a difference, especially when you get on the more higher grade dobros, because a cheaper cable like this, you can kind of notice on that one, is it'll deaden the sound a little bit, but it's really noticeable deadening the sound in an instrument that's made to be really loud, played open. So like this one here. That's with the Shubb's cable on. And here I'll try to make it so it's open here. And then, with the Charlies here. It has a lot brighter open sound that doesn't dull it at all. Although, with the Shubbs, you could use it to your advantage in some cases, as say you want to be able to have it play a little mellower. You could use a Shubbs cable like that, or a cheaper cable that would deaden the sound of it. Another thing that could have it that has a difference too is the type of material used with the cables. The one I have here is brass. Brass normally has a little bit of a deadening kind of sound to it compared to stainless steel, which is one made. Also, stainless steel is a little bit more durable too versus a brass one. And other than that, they both work. They both do what they're supposed to do, is they raise the pitch. But there's one works better than the other. Of course, as goes with most things, this one is about half to a third of the price of this one. So you do get what you pay for. If you're just starting out and you can find one of these pretty cheap and your dobro allows it, and it's even across, the action's all even across here. So I'll show you what I mean here. See the A string here? It's pretty even. There's no lift. Once you get up to like, say your C, for one thing, does another thing too, is that depending on the thickness of your neck, the clamp down here on the bottom doesn't open up all the way. So I think I can only make this thing go up to B. Yeah, just barely. Even then, when you have it up there, it's kind of resting, half hanging on the strings, plus getting pulled down, so pulls your instrument out of tune as well. So if you have one that has, it's like this, kind of more the shear line kind of setup, where it's lower here and higher up here, this will not work for it very well. You'll have to get the actual either beard style or something like this, where it just simply floats on the strings itself. But like a more beard setup, like the Regals are usually all even across. something like this can work. But that's kind of my review. I really like the Charlies. I like it a lot better than this, especially since I can't really use it on this one, and because it has a better sound to it. It's also really quick to change, and because I also play both my dobro and my banjo in the same set, and the quicker you can change between instruments, the better. I really like it for its speed and easy access, because I mean, all you do is you push it out, stick it between your little strings here, to where you want, and tight, just like that. Whereas something like that, you stick it in there, but even you have to screw it with your finger to make sure it's tight. And depending on how they do the threading of it, you can spin a lot to make that thing just move a little bit, or it can be really rough thread and you just have to turn a little bit and tighten it up. But usually they're really fine thread, and so it takes a lot longer. But that's sort of my review on capos. As I said too, though, a lot of that depends on your budget and what you can afford, because like Charlie's, I think is close to 100, and something like the Shubbs or the Beard are, I mean, new, for probably 35, something around there. And if you find a used one, you can get them for $20, $15. Depends on how much person wants to sell it. And like I said before, if you want to know more about kind of rezos in particular, I would recommend checking out Rezo Hangout, because it's a really good site for basically anything. You just ask a question about what you want to know, and there will be someone there who will answer for you. And again, thanks for watching.